afternoon, Miss Numaworse. No, how do you say your last name?
Numaworse.
Numaworse. Oh, I thought it was Numaworse.
Yeah, it's really Numaworse.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So to further our discussion yesterday, what gets you into public housing, into Winston-Salem?
Well, when I came here, I was hired to work in community development, and I was hired as the COC, which is the Continuum of Care. That's the organization that focuses on addressing homelessness and providing housing and strategy to house unsheltered or just anyone who's unstably housed. So I already came from Connecticut. I was the homeless coordinator for the whole city of Bridgeport. So I already came with that background, and then I came with the desire to, be of impact here. I wanted to move to the South. It was right after the pandemic, and my family just wanted to do something different. And this was the position I was hired for, and I felt very blessed because I was able to continue working in a field that I'm very passionate about.
Absolutely.
I came from a family that my parents are pastors and ministers, and they've done a lot of missionary work throughout my life, local, and now they're in Africa doing missionary work in Zambia. But I grew up in a household that was all about service and all about ingraining yourself into community, and wherever there were holes, filling those holes up, and making sure that you understood that if there's anybody in the community that is not well, then you are not well. Like, we're all one community. I have that kind of mentality. So this type of work is the only kind of work I can do, because this is the only thing I'm really passionate about. Serving community, public health, just making sure people are living with a certain standard of wellness.
Absolutely. So how long have you lived in Winston-Salem?
4 years tomorrow.
4 years tomorrow.
Yes.
So currently, do you know, like, at the back of your palm, do you know the estimated homeless population in Winston-Salem?
See, the thing is, I participated in the point in time count every year since I've been here. They didn't do it this year, but I'm not even sure how accurate those numbers are, because we're only able to count like what we see. There are people that are unsheltered in some of the more like in the woods and kind of harder to access areas. But I know that the unsheltered population is in the hundreds, if not more. Yes.
And what do you think is the major factor that is driving the unsheltered population in Winston-Salem?
Obviously, affordability, right? But we say affordability too easily, and we say it as if the prices just create themselves. It's not enough. We need to, as a community, it's not just people like to blame politicians and the government. It's all of us. We need to put more focus on really ensuring that there are things in place to ensure that people can survive and live and rent or buy in an affordable fashion. And not enough of that's going on. But also, like we spoke about previously, there's not enough appropriate strategy being put in place. There aren't enough. I think that the strategy must come from the people. I told you I was trained in community-based participatory research as a community health worker for the past 2 years under Dr. Ramana Robani. She's an implementation scientist from UNC Chapel Hill, and she's trained us in conducting evaluation research. So a lot of the lens that I use to look at homelessness or really any problem is really focused on looking at things from the community perspective, not taking like a top-down approach, but taking a community-based approach. Ask the folks who are experiencing homelessness what would work, what doesn't work, and then getting those we need more implementation scientists doing the work of solving a lot of these issues, because there is a way to do it. But what happens is, like I said, we're very good at identifying the problem. Oh, okay, it's easy to see that there are people who are unsheltered. And then we get into a room, the people that work in this area, and the people that are representing the people, the population politically, we get into a room and we really, with earnest passion, try to solve these issues when really the people experiencing it need to be at the helm of solving the issue.
Absolutely. So speaking of the people experiencing homelessness in Winston-Salem, right? Do you know the racial demographics?
Well, it's predominantly African American, Latino, Indigenous people who are representing the largest demographic of the unsheltered population, but they obviously are not the only ones. There's a lot of children that are unsheltered. There are a lot of veterans that are still unsheltered. But yeah, that would be the predominant demographic.
Okay. So yesterday I know you touched base on your background in public health, right? So in your view, how does housing function as a public health issue?
Well, it's a social determinant of health. If you don't have, right now, you know where are you going to sleep tonight?
My apartment.
Right, and you know that it's there.
Yes.
If somebody called you right now and said you don't have your apartment, maybe it burned down, God forbid, right? Or it's just they told you that the rent was going to go up twice, whatever you're paying, double that. Immediately, your blood pressure is going to be impacted. Your cortisol levels are going to raise because you're going to go into a bit of a panic mode.
Absolutely.
People who are unsheltered live at that state all the time. They have yet, I think, to really make strong correlations between stroke, heart attack, diabetes, high blood pressure, and all these other chronic illnesses that plague people who are housing insecure. But there's a direct correlation between being housing insecure and a lot of these chronic conditions. So it very closely relates. If the social determinants of health are not addressed, you can forget about you can put people on all the medication in the world. You can even give them the greatest diet that ever existed. If they're stressed out and they're constantly in that consistent state of stress, their body is going to break down. Their liver is not going to function right. Their kidneys are not going to function right. Their heart, their organs are going to be impacted by all the toxins that are being released into their system every time they feel stressed.
Absolutely. So I'm actually passionate about this issue as well as you. So I mean, in the 2024 semester, like I told you, I did a paper on this particular issue. So one of the experiments I tried doing was to go to a homeless shelter and experience how people, just a night, to just get that first-hand experience
that's awesome.
of how people feel at the shelter.
Yeah.
But it boggles my mind. I couldn't do it at all.
Wow.
All right. So do you have a sense of how people live in the shelter, or do you know the total amount of shelters in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County?
So I know how people live because when I was living in Connecticut, I actually I supervised the shelter in Westport, Connecticut. So I know how people live in a shelter. This was a shelter for young women 18 to 24.
Okay.
And what you're talking about is very common, feeling unsure that this is something you even want to enter into. This is why you see a lot of people outside too, because they're just not ready, just taking the leap to, you weren't able to go and stay the whole night. You just couldn't do it, right? Yeah. A lot of people who are experiencing homelessness can't do it either, and that's why you see them sometimes outside. But to your question, you were asking
the total number of homeless shelters in Winston-Salem.
Oh, the total number.
Do you have a sense of estimate?
Oh, yeah. I used to monitor the when I working in community development. My job was to monitor the shelters, like the expenditures. It was kind of like an auditor more than anything. But so we have City with Dwellings, Bethesda Center, Samaritan, Family Services. We have, those are the predominant ones.
Well, those are all non-profit shelters,
yes, right? Yes.
Do the city of Winston-Salem has like a shelter too?
Well, the city of Winston-Salem's community development department is like they are the funders, so to speak. So they get the funding from HUD, and then they oversee the sub-grantees, which are the shelters. So that's our like role. I don't work for the city anymore, but that's the city's role.
Absolutely.
In managing and supporting these efforts.
I mean, are you aware of any programs that are in place right now by the city of Winston-Salem to curb the homeless or unsheltered population?
Oh my goodness, there's so many programs to address homelessness.
Yes, homelessness.
The city of Winston-Salem is the so they're the grantee. So they're the ones who HUD has deemed the appropriate entity to sort of like oversee and support those efforts. So all of the shelters, all of the programs, because sometimes it's not a shelter, right? Sometimes, yes, shelters can address an immediate need of being unsheltered or unhoused. But then there are also programs like rapid rehousing, which is, I know when I was at the city, we contracted with like the Goodwill, and we contracted with the Dream Center, Bethesda Center. We contracted with different nonprofit organizations to run programs that address housing insecurity. Some of the programs include prevention programs. So there are programs that will allow people who are on the cusp of becoming homeless to it'll meet a specific need of, let's say they have back rent, it will pay that back rent so that they're not then put into homelessness due to something that could be prevented. So the city funds all those types of programs. Absolutely. The rapid rehousing for people who have found a place, but maybe they need some support. They have a job and they need a little support with paying their rent until they get stabilized. So the city funds quite a few programs.
Absolutely. Do you know about other surrounding cities about this phenomenon of homelessness too, like in Greensboro, in Charlotte, in
yes, they have large. The bigger the city, it seems the larger the homelessness. Yeah. And the thing that also doesn't get spoken about enough is the rural homelessness. Even some of the towns, many of the towns people are experiencing homelessness there. Rural homelessness doesn't get discussed enough, but it's an issue that is becoming a lot more spoken about because it can't be ignored anymore.
So, speaking of that, so that means homeless issue is not just a citywide crisis, all right?
No.
It's a national crisis. So what do you think can be done on the national level and on the city level to curb the issue of homelessness?
I think that we need to start looking at homelessness through a public health lens, almost explicitly. I think that if the homeless service sector, the hospital systems, the public health systems joined forces and really started to dive into like those social determinants of health, the social service organizations, faith-based organizations, I think that we should really start looking at it in that lens, and I think it will be addressed a little bit better than it is being addressed now.
Absolutely. So let's just dive a little deep into your work at Anchor. What do you do at Anchor, and what's your position at Anchor?
So I manage.
And what does Anchor stand for?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so Anchor is the Affordable North Carolina Housing Organization. And like I told you yesterday, Anchor started in 1968 and it was started it was started after the Fair Housing Act was put in place. And it was also, this organization was started because it was identified that there were a lot of people, especially people of color, who were living in substandard housing, or there just simply was not enough affordable housing. So this issue is not new. And in response to that, this organization was created, and they started building multifamily housing units to address the affordability crisis and to address the substandard housing stock availability. So from there, it kind of grew into a bit more mission-based work. We have an incredible executive director, Lori Ingram. She came here from Michigan. She was the ED of like the Detroit Housing Authority, and I believe Ann Arbor, the housing authority there. And she had really innovative ideas and a lot of passion. And she really wanted the organization to continue its mission of providing affordable and stable housing to stabilize and strengthen communities. But she also wanted to dive a little bit deeper into its mission by addressing workforce development. And that's where I came in. I came on board in October, and Lori really sold me on the fact that she understood the links between the social determinants of health and the importance of that workforce development piece, and not just allowing people or providing housing, because you can have housing, but if you're not working and you're not able to stabilize yourself and to find purpose and meaningful work, a lot of times, people can become housed and then kind of slip back into homelessness if they're not able to stabilize themselves and pay their rent and kind of feel a part of the broader work. And employment in general provides so much more than people think, in general. And then with Anchor, when people come on board, my job is to create companies that provide low barriers so that folks can come on board and work for our company and feel like they're a part of a community of people that are, we're providing meaningful work. People are paid living wages, health insurance, 401k, full-time, paid time off. These are a lot of things that if you've experienced a lot of barriers you haven't had access to. We don't drug test. We are providing jobs to people who are in various stages of recovery, and we provide in-house support. We have a full-time case manager. You kind of met her yesterday, Miss Terea Page. She's incredible. And then in addition to that, we have a very strong partnership with the county Stepping Up program. They provide a lot of support to our employees with recovery support. They come in once a month. We just started this new MOU where they're going to come in once a month to provide recovery and reentry support, because a lot of our folks have they've been justice impacted. They've spent time incarcerated, and this is the first time they've worked in a long time, and some people ever. We also provide housing. 9 out of, I think, 14 of our first cohort, they were housing insecure. Some were living at Bethesda Center, and we were able to get everyone housed, all except one. We have one more person left to house. But, all of that was done within a month and a half, of them starting work and being trained. And I always say, when people say, well, how's the program working? I'm like, you need to ask our employees, because their success, they've really transformed since in a very short amount of time. It's incredible what having meaningful work can do. So they're working they've been OSHA certified, in janitorial services, so that we own like a big portfolio of housing sites. And so they're actually working. We created this company as like an appendage of Anchor, but it's an outside organization. So they work at the sites that we own. And they've transformed these housing sites, and the residents are so happy. They are so happy. It's just been a really incredible experience all around.
Is Anchor a nonprofit organization?
Yes.
And what are some of the requirements for people who need affordable housing?
I think now on the affordable housing side, it depends on the location you're interested in renting at. We have a lot of senior homes. Most of our housing, availability is for seniors and families. So I think you need to be 62 or older, and you have to be within certain amount, income guidelines, which I'm not 100% sure about. And then we also have the same things for families.
Absolutely. So for someone who haven't heard about the job that Anchor does, what would you tell them that you guys specifically do, or what's your mission statement?
Oh, so I should have said this. So Anchor is the company I'm employed with, but right. Anchor Works is the company that I manage. Okay. So if they wanted to work for Anchor Works, yes. Someone interested in working for Anchor Works, what would I tell them we do?
Yes.
We provide low barrier employment opportunities because we have very different pathways. Our first company was janitorial. The next one is going to be Anchor Builds. So as we build affordable housing throughout the Piedmont Triad, we're going to be hiring our Anchor work staff to come and work on a lot of our sites. The next company after that will be Anchor Cooks. We plan to get a food truck and train people in the culinary arts and have them running this food truck. We'll probably start with breakfast downtown. We're moving downtown on 4th Street, so we're hoping to have our food truck downtown. And the revenue created from that will go back into workforce development programs and building affordable housing.
Absolutely. So do you guys only base your work in North Carolina, or are you guys in other states area too?
We're in North Carolina, but we do manage housing in South Carolina. As well. But right now our focus is North Carolina and the Carolina core, essentially.
So what drives you daily? What drives you daily
the
as
people.
a public health professional?
The people.
Watching
people thrive. I think I told you I just came back from Ghana. So we started Anchor Works 2 months ago. I went to Ghana for 1 week. When I came back, the employees look different. Like I can really see their faces physically look different. Their energy feels different. You can really see how this experience is transforming them. Especially the difference between the folks that were unsheltered to the ones that are now housed. And they're so happy in their apartments and they're thriving and they're coming to work with like this newfound like energy. And that's what energizes me. Seeing them thriving, seeing them be well. And all, whatever wellness looks like, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, and seeing them get that support. And this is a plane that we're continuing to build as we fly, in a sense, because, we do these check-ins every month to see where everybody's at. We do a SWOT analysis. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? Like what's working, what's not working? What are the opportunities? What are the threats to those opportunities? We create SMART goals. We check in on our SMART goals. Social network analysis. We've touched on that a little bit. Who's in your network? How are the people in your network benefiting you, right? And what are you doing to kind of cultivate a life that's positive? We do a lot of analysis work and a lot of checking in with ourselves, checking in as a group. How can we communicate better? What are some of the issues that we perform a gap analysis. Where can we improve and what will improvement look like? But it's coming from them. Even before we recruited for these jobs, we went into the community and we had these listening sessions with the people we intended to hire. And we asked them, what does viable employment look like? How would you feel? What would success look like? What does thriving as an employee look like for you? And the information we got was how we chose to design Anchor Works. Like they designed it. And it's working. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I moved from Philadelphia to North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I found North Carolina to be a pretty exciting, good weather state and affordable as well.
Yes.
So what would you advise to someone who's trying to relocate to anywhere in the United States? Would you advise that move to North Carolina? And if so, what specific reason would you recommend?
Would I advise someone to move to North Carolina? Now, I'm from Connecticut, and I'm a very proud Northern girl, okay? Let me say that. I love North Carolina. I think it's a beautiful place, especially if you're trying to raise a family. I think it's a beautiful place for you to be. Like, my kids have gone to school now through, my son is at your school. He's at Winston State.
Absolutely.
My daughter's a graduate of Salem College. I think it's a great place to be as a student as well. So I would advise, depending on the stage of life you're in and what you're looking for. If you are you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for me, I love the fact that I grew up in the Northeast. I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world.
Right.
But I do love being here now. I think this is a beautiful place to be for the stage I'm at in life and for the ages that my children, because I have younger children too, are at. And if you're a young person, if you want to come to North Carolina, I feel like there are so many opportunities, especially education-wise, depending on what field you want. If you want to go into law or medicine, I think this is a great place to be. believe it or not, I started my whole college career in my career in fashion design.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I worked in New York and I went to school for fashion design. So that has nothing to do with anything I'm doing
Absolutely.
now. But where I was in the Northeast and being in proximity to New York was that would have made more sense than if I would have been here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade that. So it just depends on what you're looking for in life.
That's a fair transition,
Right?
actually.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
But you know what's funny? The work that I'm doing is challenging, and I'm able to be very creative. So even though I find other ways, I'm an artist, so I always find ways to be creative and to do things that to make things beautiful. That's what fashion designers do, I think, too. Artists do that. We like to make things beautiful. Yeah, you kind of still find your way to make that happen in a different way.
Right. So in wrapping up, I'm a big book lover. Right? I love
me
to
too.
read books.
That's
right?
all I do.
So one of my favorite books is Between the War and Me by Ta-Nehisi
Oh, it's one of my
Coates.
favorites.
It's about the African American experience and how it relates to police violence.
Yes.
So what's your favorite book or one of your favorite books, and why would you recommend to someone like me?
Oh, one of my favorite books?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I have to say Between the World and Me is a book that I've given to my boys. I think everybody should read it, but I've given it to my little male
give
cousins.
one to my little sister too.
Yeah, everybody should read it. Actually, my sister brought it for me. Shout out to my sister. She's the biggest book lover I know. I think that if I were for you, because I feel like you're somebody that likes to think critically. If there were a book that I would suggest, I think I would suggest for you the Color of Law.
Color of Love?
Have you read it?
No.
You need to read
that.
And the reason why I say that is because I think that book, his last name's Rothstein, I think. Mark Rothstein. I feel like there are so many books. I love when people ask me that question because I'm a book lover. I don't watch TV. I read all the time. I'm not on social media. I don't even know how you found me. I'm on LinkedIn, but that's it.
I'll be researching.
Right, you're good because I'm not even on social media. All I do is read. But I would suggest for you to read that book because I think, I think that book does the greatest job of depicting what happened in this country. Especially for the topic that we're discussing. It talks about redlining, but it goes a little deeper. This author gives no wiggle room to refute his thesis. So you need to read it. It's incredible. It's one of the best books I've ever read. But I can tell you a lot of good books. I'm just choosing that one.
Absolutely.
Because I think Ta-Nehisi Coates is one. I think he's the greatest writer of our time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I concur with that. What's one quote do you live by? Your favorite quote that has inspired you over the years?
So I read in 2007 the Tao Te Ching, and it's it's like a Chinese philosophy, and I live by this quote: accept what is, create what is not. I think if that's such a simple thing, if we accept what we see and what is, accept it, whether you like it, that doesn't mean you agree with it, but accept what you're looking at. Once you accept something fully, good, bad, or indifferent, and you accept it, okay, but this is what I'm looking at, then you could create what is missing.
Wow.
People never get the first one right.
That's
so we're all even in the homeless service sector, we're all trying to create all this stuff. We haven't accepted the truth about why people are homeless in the first place.
Wow.
We haven't accepted the truth about what we could be doing, the fact that we could be doing more, and that we could be putting money more strategically placed in the right. Once we accept a whole lot of stuff, then we can create what does not exist.
Absolutely.
So accept what is, create what is not.
So let me just share one of my favorite quotes with you, right?
Yes.
I read this quote in high school in Liberia. So it's by Nancy Astor. I think she was one of the... She was the first female British Prime Minister, right?
Okay,
She said, real education should educate us out of self into something finer, into a selflessness that links us with all humanity.
I
And
agree.
I think
Beautiful.
your work resonates with that core divide.
Yes, yes.
You are turning your education into a passion
Yes.
to serving your community, and that is very profound. And I do appreciate you for taking up your time
yeah.
to speak with me. Even though I didn't bring any water, it's pretty
You don't have to.
hot right now.
Let me tell you, this was, I feel blessed because for me, like I told you, I'm getting to be an old lady now, okay?
Absolutely.
So even though I don't look like it, but it's for y'all. It's for your
Sure.
generation
Sure.
to care, to
Absolutely.
ask questions, to learn, and to grow because you all are going to inherit all of this. So the fact that you asked me to come here and you wanted to have a meaningful discussion about something, I wasn't going to miss that because this is what matters. These are the conversations that don't happen enough.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you asking me these questions and asking me to be
I
here.
do have a podcast. I hope I can use this recording
Sure.
too on my podcast.
No problem.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.